All advanced wheelchair skills are built from learning two introductory skills: pushing into and maintaining a back wheel balance, and maintaining forward momentum having flipped the front castors. Before learning wheelchair skills, the setup of the wheelchair needs to be optimal so the user can maintain an aligned seated posture, sit without hand support in the wheelchair, and have optimal access to the wheels for ease of self-propelling. In learning advanced wheelchair skills, it is strongly recommended to have a spotter to stop you falling. Please see our video on spotting for manual wheelchair skills. To learn to back wheel balance, it can be helpful to think of the wheel as a clock with the top being 12. Place their hands at 11 o'clock, perform a short, sharp push to 1 o'clock, and then briefly remove their hands from the hand rims to replace their hands just in front of 12 o'clock. This will lift the casters off the floor. Instruct the learner to think of themselves as sitting heavily back in the wheelchair, that they are only going to move their arms, and to try and keep their trunk still so that they do not change their centre of gravity. Practice this movement with the spotter initially helping the learner to achieve a back wheel balance if needed. Once in a back wheel balance, the learner needs to move their hands forwards and backwards to maintain the balance of the wheelchair. To increase confidence, practice emergency saves, where the user pulls sharply back on the wheels to save themselves from tipping backwards. With practice, the learner should be able to consistently push into and maintain a back wheel balance. True skill acquisition is achieved when the learner can push into a back wheel balance without the wheelchair moving forwards and maintain the back wheel balance for 10 seconds. The learner needs to do this 10 times in a row. With this level of skill, it would be reasonable to remove the spotter. Having learnt this skill, the learner can go on to learn turning in a back wheel balance for manoeuvring in tight spaces, travelling in a back wheel balance for pushing over soft or rough terrains, pushing off curbs, and propelling down steep inclines. If carrying out wheelchair skills, there is always a risk of falling and injury. To learn to flip the casters while pushing forwards and maintaining the forward momentum, an efficient push technique is essential. Ask the learner to start the propulsion from 11 o'clock, push forward to 2 o'clock, then let go of the hand rim and let the hands continue on a circular motion round to 6 o'clock and then back up around to 11 o'clock to hold the hand rim again. In this way, the shoulders have a rest phase and the wheelchair travels further for less effort. Once the user is self-propelling the wheelchair, ask them to do a sharp push from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock and then keep pushing. Count in the pushes so that the user performs 2 pushes, then a flip, 2 pushes, then a flip, 2 pushes, then a flip. Having learnt this skill, the learner can go on to learn pushing over low thresholds. Ultimately, the user can go on to learn to go up and down curbs by themselves. Please see our video on how to do curbs. If carrying out wheelchair skills, there is always the risk of falling and injury.